My name is Marla, and my father and my aunt were both residents of Tabitha. My aunt had no children, so I was her power of attorney. She and another sister and I were kind of really involved with helping her navigate through her MS diagnosis. When that became unmanageable for her, she moved to Lincoln. My aunt was single, and she had a high school education, and she had worked very hard her whole life and had lived very frugally. She hadn't piddled her money away and wasted money. She had done well, and I wanted her to have the best that she could have. So when I went to look for a place for my aunt to live, I did a pretty extensive search. She definitely connected really well with several of the staff members at the Elizabeth House, but it is expensive. She paid for it out of pocket every month for 5.5 years she lived at Tabitha. Well, eventually my aunt ran out of money, and the donors from Tabitha made up the difference. But at Tabitha, you didn't have to leave the place that you were already accustomed to. I thought that Tabitha did a really good job of supporting my aunt with dignity and with respect, understanding what resources she had available and having the funding available for my aunt's final months. It really was so good to not have to worry. I can't imagine if we had had to have moved. I don't even know where we would have gone. I don't know what we would have done. We are just so thankful that she was able to stay there, and the people that had been caring for her then, that had been with her for 5.5 years. It was her family. My dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, so they graciously agreed to come back to Nebraska from Florida. Then they lived at the Landing, which is part of the campus that has 2 of the houses that Tabitha runs. My mom was his primary caregiver, but anybody who's ever helped with someone with Parkinson's, it takes more than one person. It finally got to be just a 24-hour-a-day thing for both of us, and my dad just needed more support all the time. Kelsey helped us go through the process with my father coming down, and from their apartment, Mom could see his light on. Mom would come down throughout the day, and they would sit and watch TV, and she would stay until he went to bed. My parents were married for 62 years. They did not want to not be together. We just needed extra help. Having Tabitha available to my parents on the same property made all the difference in the world. There's just no way that we could have supported that relationship in the same manner. And things like having Emilio, who was our cook here at the Harbor House, the man was amazing. My dad would sleep through meals a lot, and we would take him outside, and Emilio would bring him his peanut butter sandwich out on the patio. The staff knew that we would take him on Sundays for dinner, and they would try and get him ready so that he would be ready before I got here. Those kinds of little things just make a huge difference in the day. I don't want people to think like that it was a perfect situation ever, because it's just not ever perfect. But when you step back and you look at what could have happened and what did happen, it was good. It was just good.